Did WWE just miss out on the opportunity to sign two stars from the indie scene? Absolutely. And we're going to talk about it in today's video. It's February 2nd, 2019. My name is Tony, and welcome back to Destination Pro Wrestling. We got three big news stories for you guys today. We're going to talk a little bit about ROH, we're going to talk a little bit about WWE, and of course, we're going to talk about All Elite Wrestling. Now, with that being said, if you guys haven't followed me on Twitter, make sure you guys follow me on Twitter at Tango with Tango. I love to live tweet pro wrestling, blah, 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 blah. And yeah, it's a cool place to follow me. I am part of the hashtag Find Men That Watch Wrestling. Okay, on the real, let's talk about this because this is some pretty big news. AEW has officially signed Pentagon Jr and Fenix to a contract within their company. And this is actually a really, really good thing for AEW, but it's also a really, really bad thing for AEW. And if you guys will allow me to explain, I will explain. Now, one of the things that's really interesting about this deal is these guys are not signing to AEW exclusively. In fact, what's really going on here is they will be signing to AEW, they will compete for AEW, they will be part of the AEW roster, but AEW will allow them to compete for Impact, MLW, and whatever organization, Lucha Underground, whatever it may be. Now, that's kind of a bad thing because WWE also tried signing Pentagon Jr and Fenix. And of course, WWE does not let their talent compete for organizations that are not affiliated to their company. Now, AEW, unless they have a working relationship with Impact, New Japan, or any of these companies, there's no reason, in my opinion, that they should be sharing their talent with other companies. In fact, I would say in total, regardless of working relationships, they really should try to minimize how often their stars show up for different TV. The reason for that is very simple. They have to build their superstars their brand, and one thing that makes WWE really, really powerful is the fact that guys like Brock Lesnar, guys like Dean Ambrose, guys like Kevin Owens and Seth Rollins, all these names are exclusively to WWE. And AEW, if your superstars are being shown across different platforms and different, wrestling shows and they're losing, it doesn't do a good thing for AEW, whose main focus is wins and losses. So as much as I love the fact that these two guys are going to AEW, I hate the fact that they're not going to be exclusive. You really got to think about it this way. AEW wants to make wins and losses matter. It's supposed to be competition, right? Like, that's how their show is going to be scripted. You can't have these guys go on MLW and lose. You can't have these guys show up in different promotions and lose their matches. So the fact that they don't have that control over this talent is a really big concern for me. But the fact that they were able to sign two incredible indie stars, at this point, I don't even feel like they're indie stars. Like, I feel like that's so disrespectful to say because they're so talented. But the fact that they signed them is such a big, important thing for their company. And obviously, we hope to see more between, this new deal. Obviously, we want to see them eventually go exclusive. And this was really weird because Chris Jericho tweeted that it was an exclusive contract, but then the reports came after that that was not the case. But again, these guys should be exclusive to AEW. And if you're WWE, this is where you kind of start sweating, right? Like, this company is starting to pick up some talent that would not sign to you. And that should always, always be a concern. Now, we also have to be very honest about the situation. AEW is making some pretty big signings. If you add Pentagon, Fenix, Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, Pac, if you add all these guys to a list, you're kind of able to give these guys a platform in which maybe one day they can compete with WWE. But that's where the conversation has to end. There should not be a comparison between AEW and WWE until the show is on television. And once we see how they handle their storylines, and once we see how they handle their show and some of their business decisions, then we could start comparing the two companies. But as of right now, this is a big move for AEW. It could very well be a move that hurts them in the long run, but if done right, it could also be a reason why they are major players in the pro wrestling world. Only time will tell. On to the next story of the day, we're going to talk about Shinsuke Nakamura possibly leaving WWE. This one is actually a shocker to some people. To me, obviously, based on recent booking, it would not shock me at all. And this seems to be a huge issue that WWE has had before. Now, before I get into it, there's been a lot of conversations, a lot of reports, a lot of people and personalities and YouTubers, and there's a lot of, journalists, whatever you want to call them, dirt sheets. They're talking about Shinsuke Nakamura possibly not extending his contract. Now, one of the really interesting things here, Slice Wrestling, if you guys don't know who he is, Slice Wrestling on Twitter has broken some stories before. And for me, I just kind of read it. I don't always read into it. I don't, I don't think twice about it. I just kind of look at it and see what's being said. But Slice Wrestling has also reported that there is a possibility that the talks of this, there might be more to it, and we should wait to find out what's happening. If Shinsuke Nakamura does leave WWE, not only is this a big blow to WWE, but it's going to hurt WWE. And the reason why is because Shinsuke Nakamura was a talent that came from Japan. And as you guys can imagine, there's a lot of talent leaving New Japan to come to WWE. We know Kushida is possibly also going to WWE, NXT. And we're starting to see WWE's mishandling of talent coming from Japan. And obviously, if you're trying to attract stars from Japan, when they see how Nakamura was booked and they see how some of these guys transitioned into WWE and they did not see them become successful, it's going to scare them. It's going to stop them from thinking about switching. And that is something that WWE needs to control. So this could be a big blow to WWE, not only because they would be losing a great talent, but it's really going to show talent out in Japan, regardless of the promotion that you belong to, that WWE may not be the place for you based on how they've mishandled talent from Japan before. Now, I want to know more information about what's going on with Shinsuke Nakamura, but basically what it's coming down to is a very similar situation to Dean Ambrose. It may be a situation where Shinsuke Nakamura may not want to actually extend his contract with WWE and may look at different markets. Now, me personally, if I'm Shinsuke Nakamura, I think this would be the perfect time to go back to New Japan based on all the stars that have been leaving New Japan. And obviously there's a huge thing with AEW becoming the new thing. So at this point, I don't know if Shinsuke Nakamura will in fact leave WWE for AEW, but the reports of him not extending his contract make a lot of sense. And it makes a lot of sense that he could go back to Japan and still continue to be a household name in Japan. And as far as that goes with WWE, I don't know if this is a situation where WWE is just going to offer him more money, but what I'm really hoping to see out of this in the long term is WWE not mishandle talents anymore from Japan, especially when there's quite a few names who are also still rumored to leave Japan and come to WWE. It's really cool that there's a lot of talent from there, but we don't want to see them all become comedy acts, and we don't want to see these guys not being taken serious, and we don't want to see stupid things being done with their character. And unfortunately, it's like WWE always ruins what's good. It kind of happened to Nakamura with his entrance music. They turned him heel. They didn't want people singing to the song. It just made more people outraged. So very interesting stuff coming from Nakamura not extending his contract with WWE. As we get more information on this story, we will talk to you guys about it and let you guys know officially what's going on. But with that being said, let's just jump right into the next story. Okay, and this is really good news for Ring of Honor. If you guys didn't know, Justin Gabriel, also known as PJ Black, has officially signed an exclusive deal with Ring of Honor. Now, this is a really interesting time for Ring of Honor because they've lost quite a few talents, but basically what that did was free up some space. And you guys know that they recently made some signings. They signed PCO, they signed Brody King, and now PJ Black is coming exclusively to Ring of Honor. And this is a really good thing for both parties. It was actually rumored that WWE might try to bring PJ Black back into WWE in some training role / talent and 205 Live. That never really became a thing. I didn't see too much of that after it was just initially reported. And then, obviously other companies, want to use this guy. He's been taking advantage of being part of the indies at this point. People know that he also participates in Lucha Underground. So this is a big move not only for Ring of Honor, but this is a big move for him because he'll be on a show exclusively that holds TV tapings, has pay-per-views. Ring of Honor isn't the biggest wrestling promotion, but they do offer an alternative for a lot of people that watch WWE. And it looks like WWE not signing him isn't really a big deal to WWE. It's not like he's that big of a name where they needed him. But I think this is a good thing for some of the talent in ROH that are young, some of the talent in ROH that need veterans. PJ Black is definitely that guy. And we got to give him props. When he was in WWE and he left WWE, he envisioned the PJ Black character, the Darewolf character. That was his vision. That was something he wanted to bring to WWE TV. He got injured. He wasn't on TV. This was something that, just couldn't happen. And it's nice to see that we're going to see more of him on television. And obviously being on Ring of Honor, I think it'll give him a good chance to kind of show not only is he really skillful, but it's going to be able to show that, hey, you don't need WWE. You can sign to other companies, still make a decent living. And, he's going to finish up his dates pretty soon. Once he finishes up his dates, he'll go to Ring of Honor exclusively. And there's some really cool matchups that I want to see. So with that being said, I want to know what you guys think about all three news stories lots of big stuff happening in the pro wrestling world. Guys, leave a comment down below, and make sure you guys follow Destination Pro Wrestling on Twitter at DESTPW. It's going to be in the description. Make sure you guys follow the Twitter. And that's where we do a lot of live tweeting, a lot of contests, a lot of giveaways, a lot of fun, a lot of things that we're going to do to start building a community of pro wrestling fans and bring them together. So with that being said, guys, my name is Tony from Destination Pro Wrestling, and as always, I will see you guys next time.
You have reached your destination.